Hi, greetings. I am here today in Pensacola, Florida, and I'm going to interview and have a loft visit with Chad Ward, loft manager and owner of Blue Angels Classic One Loft Race. This is the Blue Angels Classic One Loft Race location. Mr. Chad Ward is the owner. This One Loft Race. Oh, there's another dog. So if you come here for the final race, and look at that. That is the location, and they have a lake. And well, the only thing here in Florida, Alabama, South area, it's hot, it's humid, summertime of course, and so it's nice. So we are going to interview Mr. Chad Ward regarding his Blue Angels Classic One Loft Race, and we thank him. A very nice guy. How are you doing today, sir? Good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Well, thank you for letting us be here in your place, and you have a really nice place in here, and we're going to interview Mr. Chad Ward regarding his One Loft Race here. Okay, and stay tuned and we will start the interview. Hi, greetings and welcome to our channel, and we are here today in Pensacola, Florida area, home of the Blue Angels of the United States Navy, and we are going to interview the loft manager and owner of Blue Angels Classic One Loft Race, Mr. Chad Ward. So we are here with Mr. Chad Ward. He is the owner and loft manager of the Blue Angels Classic One Loft Race. Well, thank you so much, sir.
Morning. How are y'all?
We're good, and thank you so much for letting us visit you here. Yes, in your area, in your place. Really nice, really neat place, and we're going to show this area, his backyard, and his loft later after our interview with him. And by the way, I said to the introduction, Pensacola, Florida area, but actually we are standing in Alabama.
Yes, sir. I live a mile and a half across the Alabama state line.
So, because Pensacola is the panhandle.
Pensacola is the panhandle.
And the idea of putting the Blue Angels Classic name is because of the Blue Angels.
The Blue Angel, yes, sir.
Well, that is really nice, honoring, you know, the Blue Angels. And also, Mr. Chad Ward's son is Wyatt is about to join the United States Air Force,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
How did you start with this type of hobby or, you know, sport, racing pigeon?
I started the pigeons when we was young. My daddy was involved in the racing pigeons.
Okay.
And I always enjoyed it and just kind of caught the bug, and here I am.
Yeah, that pigeon bug.
Yes, the pigeon bug.
If you say pigeon bug, means it's not the literal bug of the pigeons, okay?
No.
It means
the love and the joy of the pigeons.
The love of the joy, the addiction.
The addiction of the pigeon.
So to speak,
sure.
right? The
yes,
addiction
sir.
of the pigeon. So you inherited it from your father. You growing up in, you know, with your dad having pigeons, training the pigeons and everything.
Yes, sir.
So what is the most memorable time, you know, with your dad growing up with the pigeons?
There's lots of memorable times, you know, from all the trips we've been on to the different conventions and different races, and you know, the races here at the house and hosting the one lofts here at the house. And well, there's lots of them. You just can't name one. So
So ever since before you were young, your dad is was already hosting
yes, sir.
one Loft race.
Yes, sir. He had one back in the 90s, one of the first ones around this area. It was kind of small, you know, the local club guys and other people that we knew. But
okay.
So that was the first one back then.
So it's just like, you know, for fun kind of thing. But now, like, you know,
now it's a big time kind of thing.
Big time kind of thing, or the one Loft race. So do you remember, like, you know, what are the things that you've learned from your dad regarding taking care of the pigeons? You
got to keep them healthy. You got to keep them in shape. And because if they're not healthy and they're not in shape, they can't fly and they can't race and compete.
Is he into also pedigrees, you know, strains and everything?
No, sir. He's more into the performance.
Okay.
He does like pedigrees, but he likes performance too.
Okay. And how do you remember how many birds he has before?
He probably had 200 or 300 back when we was young.
And was it here in Alabama where we are at now?
Yes, sir. It's the next property over. Next property. Where my mom and my brother live on that piece of property.
And I remember, you know, just heads up, when we drive here, the GPS will bring you to the other property, that is your brother, right?
Yes,
don't get scared like, oh, it's a wrong turn, like, you know, in the movie, because it's a really long, what do you call that? A driveway. Yes. Now you are a member of a club, right?
Yes, sir. I'm the president of our local club here, Northwest Florida Invitational Club.
Okay.
And vice president of our concourse. And you know, it covers from Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, the 3 states there.
Okay. So is that the Texas? Oh yeah, that's the Texas.
And I'm also the president of the Texas Center. So
that's why I'm reading his bulk up. Texas Center 2024 Atmore. Do you say it right? Did I say it right?
Atmore, yes, sir.
Atmore.
We hosted the summer convention race last week. At that casino in Atmore, Alabama, at the Wind Creek Casino. And these 2 birds here that we have are the winners from the last week on the first drop. CL Gage and John Reed.
So this is from CL Gage.
This is from CL Gage.
CL Gage from
Denton, Texas.
Denton, Texas. And this one is from
John Reed from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
From Tulsa, Oklahoma. And you hosted here, the Texas Center here.
Yes,
okay, that's nice.
Yes, sir.
And okay, in regards with the club, so you are a member of the club, so you also have your own flyers and everything like that. And how is it though? I mean, how do you enjoy, like, you know, being in a club, being the president, and, you know, with the pigeons and the people, the camaraderie?
Yes, sir. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. I like the club race, but it is a lot of work.
So the question is, why racing pigeon is so important to you?
The racing pigeons is so important to me. It keeps my mind right, and you know, gives me a competitive feel where I can be competitive even with the birds.
I like the first word that you said, you know, peace of mind. That is why we have this. I started a non-profit organization which is raising pigeons for military veterans, and it's emotional support for our military veterans that would like to get involved in this type of hobby. And I think it's already given. We don't need to ask or request you if you would participate, because what we do is we give free birds to the military veterans who are just starting.
Yes, sir.
Who would like to get involved into this type of hobby, to use this as their emotional support leisure. And you are more than willing, of course, to help out our military veterans. Well, anyway, are you in particular with your strain, or, you know, what are your stock birds?
I have a few different strains. I have the best kittles, the kittles, some of the long distance bloods. I try to cross them into each other and see what I can do with them. Sometimes they work crossing them, sometimes they don't. I like to fly performance birds, type birds, and
so pedigree are important, but you are more into performance.
I'm into performance.
Okay, so when you pair or start breeding your pigeons, you use, of course, the pedigree, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you also into pairing winner to winner or winner to a strain, those kind of things, ideas?
I like to pair winner to winner.
Winner to winner.
Yep.
Performance, always performance.
Performance.
Like what I heard in this one of the fanciers, pedigree doesn't fly.
Yep. Pedigrees don't fly.
Don't fly, so.
They look good on paper, but they don't fly.
Yes, that's true. And when did you start doing the one loft race?
We've been doing it here at my house this is our 5th year at my house.
Okay.
My daddy had it when we started the Blue Angel Classic in 2014. He had it at his house for a few years, and then about 4 or 5 years ago we moved it here to my house. They had a club one loft race.
Okay.
But one loft racing wasn't big back in them days.
So it's just like, you know, club one loft race.
It was a club one loft race, but there was some other people that we've met from when we go to the conventions and other races throughout the country that would send birds down.
That's nice.
To handle.
Okay. So now you are the owner of this Blue Angels one loft race.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, when our viewers decided to send birds to your one loft race, because I believe you are a late hatch,
yes,
right?
Yes, sir. We're a late hatch race. We take birds May through the middle of July.
Okay. So if it is late hatch, what are the age of the birds that, you know, they can send?
Most of the birds are still 30 to 45 days old, like
okay.
any one loft race. But you know they don't raise them till later in the year, March and April. You know, to send to our one loft race.
So we say late hatch. It doesn't mean that the bird is already like 2 years old.
No.
That they get. It means that
later in the breeding season.
Yes, because the regular breeding season is like November, October, November, and December, right?
Yep.
But because you are late hatch, they will breed most likely their bird what month? Like
March and April.
March or April, and then few weeks or once the bird has complete, you know, feathers already eating by themselves, they can send it to you.
Yeah.
And when you receive the birds, how do you take care of them? Like, you know, for example, I send you birds.
When I receive the birds, I have a small holding pen over on this side over here.
This is the blue section,
yes,
right?
Yes, sir. This brown section over here.
I mean brown. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. And I put them in there, and I make sure they have feed, make sure they have water, make sure they drink, make sure they eat, and then I let them sit for about a week.
And you vaccinate them?
I vaccinate all my birds when I get them in on Saturdays.
Do you mind if I ask what are the vaccines that you give?
I give them the rotavirus.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
It's very important, right?
Yes, sir. And then on that Saturday, I'll put their chip ring on and put them in the clock and all that, and get them ready for the one loft race.
And how do you train them then?
Then they get moved to a different section after that week, to a bigger section, and then they get where they can go on the aviary in this trap here, and learn to see the place for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
And then after about 2 or 3 weeks, I start locking them out. I lock the door where they can only go in through the bobs.
Okay.
Once they go in through the bobs for about a week, I start turning them out. And I don't force them out. I'll leave the door open. If they want to go out, they will.
Oh, you do the open loft?
Yes, sir. I do. I like to do open loft.
Okay, and then we're gonna do a loft flight today, right?
Yes, sir.
And what are the increments of your training? You know, the mileage.
We start at a mile. I started a mile just to get them used to the basket. But I carry them a mile about 3 times. Then my next toss is 5 miles for about 3 times, and then the next toss is about 10 miles, and then I move it on up. The birds have a 500-600 miles before they ever go to the first 100-mile activation toss.
Okay, so what is the activation mileage again?
100 miles.
100 miles, and then after 100 miles, activation of the birds.
Then the first race is 150 miles.
150 miles is the first race.
Yes, sir.
And do you also hold a special race after the final race?
Yes, sir. We do. Depending on how many birds we have, and if everybody is interested, we'll go 400 miles.
Okay, that's really nice. Well, anyway, you had the opportunity to invite our viewers to your one loft race, Blue Angels Classic one loft race here in Pensacola, Florida area, or should I say Alabama? Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. It's on the Win Companion page is blueangelclassic.com. All my information's on there. You can contact me, email me by phone or whatever.
And I'm going to attach the link, and the information of Blue Angels Classic, and you don't mind I'm putting your phone number there,
no,
right?
Sir, that's fine.
Of Chad Ward in the description of this video. And we are going to do a loft tour, and we are going to have a loft fly, and also we are going to have tour in my
new building where we have
new building in the reception.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And we will be having a loft tour.
You.
Awesome.